Coach, as you continue to win, Richmond's name is rising in national conversation about March. Do you give any thought to that, and is it part of your motivational message to your guys?
Not necessarily, John. I think, even more since the day I started, everything's so available, and so the guys can see a lot more than I see. And I think, again, the hard part is if there was a concrete number that you were supposed to get to or a concrete percentage, but there's not. And I think having been on the bubble here, say 4 times in the last 8 years or so, it's just silly to worry about it too much. They especially since they do it in September, since before the season starts. So I think for us right now, the motivation is obviously the game against LaSalle, but also, we're in a position here where we can make a run at the A-10 title and certainly make a run at a top 4 finish. So I think we have enough really concrete things, and hopefully we can do well and each game take a step toward that.
Your game against GW, was it as close to a complete 40-minute game played this year for you guys?
Probably so. I feel like we played very well throughout the game. If you look at our percentages versus their percentages, we had very few turnovers. I thought we played a really good, crisp game. And also, I really wanted us to play a really good game at home. I think probably our best games have been on the road, and that GW game was one of our best ones. So, yeah, I think that, the things that we were able to do in terms of, we defended their size, we rebounded okay, and then we did things on offense that we were hoping in terms of letting our speed be an advantage for us. And I think we got good shots most of the time, and we were able to make them work to get good shots.
Coach, this has been an exhausting 4-game stretch for you and your team. How has this glorified bye week really helped your guys in terms of rest and getting ready for LaSalle on the road?
Well, it's been great. Bob and I talk about it all the time. The bye week is really, to me, it's the first thing I look for when we get the schedule is when is the bye week? Is it a weekday or weekend? How can we maximize our time? And just give the guys as much of a mental refresh as possible. And I think we've tried to take advantage of that as best we can. We've had guys in shooting, but they've also gotten rehab. They've been able to relax a little bit. So I think today when we get back out on the court, we can see that, all right, there's a new energy, and the season is much shorter now, rather than being in the midst of a 4 games in 10 days or a 2 straight away game. All those things, it's unplugged, and then we can plug back in and get ready for Saturday.
First time on the road for you guys in a while.
Yeah.
Getting back in the swing of things, you have to preach the message about road games in conference. It doesn't matter who.
Yeah, probably so. I feel like winning on the road is it's always difficult. Sometimes the atmosphere is not loud enough. Sometimes the atmosphere is too loud. It just never feels exactly right. And so, really important for us to attack the game, just be as our concentration level be as high as possible, to kind of minimize some of those distractions that come with being on the road. So hopefully we'll be able to go up there and have a good start to the game and be able to block everything out and play well.
Is there a benefit to after coming off a bye to have the first game on the road?
In a way, I think that if you could manipulate your schedule the best way you could, you probably have a couple more buys, but yeah, I think just being focused and being away. We haven't traveled in a long time because our one road game is VCU. So being in the hotel, being together, meeting, having meals, and just being able to really refocus on the task at hand.
How has LaSalle kind of evolved since their really hot start? They were right at the top for a while there.
Yeah, they played a great game against Rhode Island. They were up 29 in the second half. They lost the other day to George Mason, and they play tonight at Fordham. So they have a lot of talent. A transfer from Syracuse and from Auburn. So they have a tremendous amount of talent. They're really good on offense. Very difficult to stop because those guys can get their own shots. And so as well as you might defend, they can dribble the ball and get into a crease or take a step back shot that's a 3-point shot that's really hard to do much about. So really talented offensive team, and so it's going to be really important for us, especially on the road, to be as zeroed in on defense. I think they're going to make some shots that we, that you have to just tip your hat to and go back down and play offense, because they're very, very good offensively.
Coach, every conference game is difficult on the road, but at LaSalle it seems particularly difficult for a lot of teams in the Atlantic 10. Why is that, and what makes it difficult for your guys?
Well, it's a bit of a unique setting. The arena has, there are no stands in the back. So I think that it doesn't feel as much of the great atmosphere as you get in most of the gyms in the country, or in the conference, even though they'll have a good turnout and there'll be good fans and it'll be loud. So I feel like, and mostly because their team is really good, and they, generally they've been talented, and they've been a team that can take their time. And so I would say most college teams are always talking about that effort and energy and moving up, and I think they have that, but it shows in a way that's very calm, very understated, and that can throw off your timing a little bit.
John mentioned about the tournament earlier. How much has it been stressed to the team that with just a handful of games left, there are no more mulligans? We've got to take care of what we can control and then let the chips fall where they may, I guess.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that, and we've talked about maximizing our opportunity. We've put ourselves in a good position, and now when you've done that, you take on a little bit more responsibility. And so hopefully we can hold serve and really play as well as we possibly can to continue to increase our chances at getting a top 4 spot, or our chances of winning the title. So, but at the same time, when the ball tips on Saturday, it's just going to be about trying to guard LaSalle and do the best we can on the backboard.
Coach, when you look at the roster, and the depth has kind of been a little bit of an issue, not entirely, but Joe Kirby's really stepped up his play lately, even more so in the last encounter. What is he doing so well that works for your offense, where he can get those buckets, get those backdoor cuts?
Yeah, well, Joe is a very good player. He came here as a walk-on and has earned a scholarship the last 2 seasons. He's a great kid who's passionate about us, passionate about Richmond basketball. I would say that he's a good enough player to play, and really, in coaching him and trying to get him in the game is just having him have a great understanding of what's going on. I think when you go from being a guy who's bringing energy to a guy who's going to bring statistics, you have to make a little bit of an adjustment. And so, not to say that your energy goes down, but now you're involved and you're on the court and making those decisions. So I think Joe's a big piece for us going forward.